I was getting pinged by 40 to 50 people literally every single week.
Yeah.
Trying to liquidate stuff. They're like, oh, buy this heart of Findal for me. It's like some said 30, 35, 40, some even said $50,000.
Low price.
Yeah, it's a low price. Get it, buy it for me.
$29, $99.
Yeah, $99, exactly. I don't want to make this episode about this specific jack off, but like for example, Alex Sneed, he tried to sell like whatever, $300 market rainbow foil common set of Arcane Rising First for like $2,000, and then he came to me. He's like, "I'll give it to you for the low price of $1,500." Now you could still buy it for the great low, awesome insider deal price of $1,500 with one person that likes it on eBay. We'll put up the listing. Give Alex Sneed a little optimization. Newsflash, I bought them for $350 to $400 back.
I'm friends with Alex, so I'm biased.
Past 5 in the morning, part of my second cycle. Usually I go to work, full day, blah, 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 dinner, shower, and then this is the end of my second 8-hour, or the second part of my 16-hour work day. So yeah, I was going to make this video. I actually had it storyboarded for a multi-part video about some bad actors and good actors on the transaction side of Flesh and Blood. But given the apparent, twisting or the, not fully thought out narratives that are being spread in the, interwebs, it's a toxic place, guys. As well as the violation of my privacy. I guess I needed to come out and make this video a little early. Obviously, a lot of people, thousands of people know. It's out there for everybody to know that I'm going through a personal matter. So I was gonna wait until after that, but all right. Let me just come out and say it. I'd like to give my sincere and heartfelt apology to absolutely nobody. What, you think I did something wrong? Please. No, but first off, I do want to apologize. On my behalf, I take accountability, but my editor, also named Alex S., he had accidentally, from Google, pulled a picture of Brian Gottlieb. Sorry for having you catch strays, Brian. I didn't have time to do post-production editing, but the editor and I, we hashed it out. It was an L on the editor, but I take accountability for it. So on behalf of myself and, Yanji doesn't edit videos, but Alex S., our editor, we're sorry for throwing you in the middle of that. It's probably gonna be a decent sized video because there's a lot to unpack, as the young ones say. I didn't want this to be a little pissing contest. I wanted to break it down because, I have a unique perspective in the secondary market of Flesh and Blood. I get solicited for my money all the damn time. Even today, it's literally 5:10 a.m. Somebody from Asia Pacific just tried to, not dump. He wanted me to consider, I believe, a 5 to 6 figure deal. I'm wrapping up my workday. I'll probably get back to him tomorrow, but I'll be interested. He's coming at me with a fair price, most likely, and we have a rapport. So I wanted to break down this whole situation, this Alex Sneed situation, and hopefully provide value to the other people, the collectors out there that are engaging in this business discourse, engaging in these potential transactions. Because it is my belief that Alex, he violated some rules of engagement, and if push comes to shove, guess what? I don't need to apologize for somebody wasting my time, just nonstop hitting me up for money. They can be told to go fuck themselves, and I'll sleep just fine at night. However, let's get into the rules of engagement. Rule number 1, you should always respect confidentiality and respect every individual's privacy in a deal. A gentlemanly transaction, at least every transaction used to be gentlemanly transactions. It was supposed to be a private matter between two parties. I'll give you an example, and this was a red flag. May 6, 2022. By the way, I usually don't do screenshots, but because my personal business is out there, I feel like explaining my side of the story. May 6, 2022. Hey, Nam, member of Card Guys, wants to know if you'd care to share how much Yanji sold his tunic for. My response, because I respect confidentiality and privacy, too much. It was a one-off. I can't divulge that information. Yanji is my bro. And yeah, to me, that's a red flag. I don't know what's wrong with people in this day and age doing transactions, but transactions are private. That's private. If Yanji wants to give that information, that's between him and his buyer, but I still wouldn't unless I got permission from the buyer. So that's a respect for privacy and respect for confidentiality. Later on, I do mention, and I say, when I'm getting solicited with crazy numbers, it's I say your ask is way too off. If you look at the dumps that DKNG Moon has been making on eBay, you'll see what some items are moving at. I was a purchaser of 80% of his goods in the past year. So much of 2023, I purchased from a store. I know by his first and last name, I know where he lives, but I used his eBay handle, DKNG Moon, because a lot of people knew of this notorious dumper, throughout that year. And yeah, it was also to illustrate that I knew exactly what the pricing was at, and that, I'll get into it. Speaking of pricing, I'll get into it. This individual, Alex, had no self-awareness about pricing, and he had no true market understanding. There are a lot of people that are just simply delusional in the flesh and blood market, and they get delusional to the point that talking to them is a complete waste of time. If you do not have a firm market understanding, then you're going to ultimately waste people's time. And again, please keep in mind that as an admin of multiple groups on Facebook and Sneed posting, I picked up, I think, 6 live posts that were still up there, but he was posting and reposting multiple times a month on groups that I'm an admin of. I'm literally clicking these things saying, okay, approve. Oh God, why this again? And then other admins and I are talking saying, oh my God, this guy's, pie in the sky, he's delusional. But you know what? Everybody has a right to ask whatever they ask for their cardboard. I mean, there's a post in 1031, look at my rainbow foils. November 3rd, look at my rainbow foils. March 2nd, March 28th, look at my rainbow foils. March 15th, March 27th, they were still up there. I'm quitting sale, look at my rainbow foils. You need to do business with a party that has a market, good understanding of the market. If you're not, then you're wasting your time and you're letting them waste your time. So, I tried to tell this individual as early as the beginning, because October, I'm considering moving my Alpha and Arc first collection. I know you have a lot of nice things. You want to reach out. Is this something you'd be interested in? I already told him, hey, I'm giving you a signal. It depends on if there's going to be a market appropriate discount for such a position. Complete sets, or even worse, loose collections that don't transact at a discount, are hard to move. That's what I meant. Regardless, not to mince words, I said, he's like, oh, I'm open to a fair negotiation. Of course, I'm not looking to sell at a huge loss. There's no loss, but I'm not looking for any premium based on completeness. I've had this conversation since the Magic the Gathering days. Literally, no exaggeration, literally 100 times. Because some people think that there's going to be extra money in it if you get everything together. No, there isn't. The buyer has to take on a lot of chaff that's most likely not worth it to the buyer, or they could just simply buy a set of commons or rares or common rares. And yeah, I said, this is not something that goes well after negotiation. It's usually, I need a number, I need this much money, I say, or the lot goes in the market and people go, or best offers. I ask for the last right to beat the top offer. That's how I do in the FaB market. And most of the time, there's still a way to structure the deal in a way that the seller wins. More cash, easier liquidity cards, etc. Again, I tell them I'm down to head in either direction, but the negotiation part usually ends in saltiness and a waste of time. He hasn't even sent me the spreadsheet thing, and I already know that I'm dealing with most likely a pie-in-the-sky dealer. I can assure you, lowball me, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't care even a bit. See, there's a typo there. I'm a fair dealer, I know you are too, which is why I came to you, blah, blah, blah. If you need time to tell your number to start, we can do that. Yes, number. That's what I wanted. That's why I said, let's do the number thing. I'm interested in helping decent folks in the community, and I almost never outright reject WAC. Okay, and I do believe in flesh and blood, I say that. Blah, 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 he's already signaling that he's on his way out. I'm going back to my collecting roots of Pokemon, and this is already in October, so he's trying to exit. And I'm not a big fan of exit liquidity, which will, people exiting the game and providing them liquidity because it's a negative incentive. Now, he sends a Google Doc sheet later on, a couple days later, October 26th, Alpha Arc foil checklist. It was, again, pie in the sky. I was like, everything was maximum numbers, and he wanted everything broken down to every single foil being $30, $100, $200 for this, $5 a minimum foil. And I mean, you could just take the time to watch a Rudy video or a collection breakdown video, any YouTube channel. I've said it sometimes. I've done, collection videos in the past. And if you're gonna do a 4-figure or 5-figure deal, everything else that's under like $50, sometimes under $100, is usually a toss-in because it's the 20% that net 80 to 100% of the value of the complete collection. I get the checklist, okay? And a day later, he hits me up. I saw the checklist. I didn't want to have this conversation anymore by that time, all right? I left him on read because it's like, no, I already gave you 3 signals that this isn't gonna go well. I'm really not interested. Damn, okay, fine. But he's just following up. And he's posting simultaneously. He's posting at the same time. Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, October 31st, he posts on one of the groups that I'm a part of or an admin of. Again, I see this stuff. This is like, making my eyes bleed after a while. Okay, November 2nd, 5 days later, he's hitting me up again. All right, just checking, blah, blah, blah. Let me see if the list. And I tell him again, I looked at it, and though you're an experienced dealer, I don't think you're assessing the pricing the way a 5-figure MTG deal would be assessed. For example, I just talked about that, okay? Same thing, I mentioned this in the first section, DKNG Moon. I was the purchaser of, nearly 7 figures market of cards, but it got dumped OBO on eBay because, it didn't go well between him and I. And, I got it for, not pennies on the dollar, but dimes on the dollar, a severe discount. So let's see, I'm happy to discuss whatever. Just being honest, we won't meet a number you're satisfied with, and I don't have the time for back and forth. I don't have the time for back and forth. I literally don't have the time for back and forth. All right, I've told you, not interested, not interested, not interested, fine. I've left you on read twice and ignored, okay? Later on, he's out there posting in March, in May, Saint, getting out of FaB completely for now and was wondering if you could take these off my hands. Full set of our Rainbow Foil Arc 1 rares and commons. I know they're worth a good bit, but I know they're harder to move, so any fair price you can, help me out. I'm sure will do. No, by then, May of this year right now, Arcane Rising isn't really in favor. I mean, what is there? The Ravenous Rabble, right? But that's reprinted. There's Fate Foreseen. I don't see that in much competitive play. So for real, when I was buying them, they were probably in 2022 and early 2023, they're probably $350 to $400. Right now, this is about a $300 set. But regardless, even if it's $250, $350, $400, even $500, he's asking at this time just short of $2,000. And finally, he posts it on eBay for $1,500. And then he sends me pictures, blah, blah, blah. Again, May 12th, exactly. I leave him on read for 2 days. This whole time, there is no self-awareness from his end that I really don't want to talk to him. I don't want to spend time with him. I said I'd rather not waste my time. I told him this 6 months ago. I don't have time for back and forth in October. He lacks a self-awareness. He's posted, I've seen his posts probably 40 times between October and May. 14, checking back and forth before I move to other sources. No. N-O. All right? N-O. It should have been the end there. And I will get to a couple more points, but it should have been the end there. Let me just tell you that one thing that most people aren't gonna bring up and most people don't care about anymore is that it's really important to find some rapport, and it's really important to recognize what value each side is providing to the other. All right, Alex Sneed, he didn't care about our rapport. He didn't care about providing me value. It was always, Saint, what about this? Saint, can you get me some product? Saint, can you do this? Saint, can you do that? Saint, can you assess this price for me? Saint, can you buy this? Saint, can you sell out Yanji from FaBled Hunters, your partner and captain of a competing team, and tell me what his price is for his gold foil tunic, one of the most prestigious cards in the game? Of course not, all right? Red flags all over the place. I've already ghosted him. Have some decency, have some self-awareness, have some respect, and leave a man alone. Think about it this way. To all the people, not everybody's wealthy out there, but imagine, you make $20 an hour, whatever, $200 a day, and a homeless person is on the street asking you for money. Hey, brother, can I get $1? Hey, I'm not interested. Hey, brother, can I get $1? No, I'm not interested. Hey, buddy, can I get, no! Of course you're going to get frustrated, okay? And there's another thing. Just think about this. Look, because of number 2, his lack of market understanding, he doesn't realize that he's got a $20 bill. And he's like, oh, I've got a 20. Give me a Benji, give me $100 for this $20 bill. It's a good deal. Give me $100 for this $20 bill. Because even from his first spreadsheet, he was already pricing his Arcane as well as his WTR Rainbow Foils at a sky-high price. I heard that a rumor's going around. I haven't seen his video yet. I'll probably see his video after I, probably tomorrow after I record this, because I don't think there's any valuable input there. He said, oh, I sold it for like $12,000. That's BS. I've heard from very reliable sources that it was south of $10,000. So whatever he had it valued at, $17,000, he was selling it from October all the way to Pro Tour LA. And in the meantime, I believe you can sign it. I saw the sets face to face at a vendor booth, and I rejected that set in person as well, because this guy's just doing everything he can to get exit liquidity. Now, I gave you 2 examples. Now, this third example, I don't think it's controversial, but just think transpositionally. Think about a situation where you're an attractive woman or a hottie, right? Men want to pursue that hottie. They will catcall her. They will, do this, do that. And hey, it's like, oh, first, exchange it. Okay, Saint, I'm considering moving my Alpha and Arc first collection. Think about it. It's like, oh, hey, hottie, I'm single. You date guys. Are you interested in me? No, I'm not interested in you. Okay? Oh, hey, let's just talk. I'm open to a fair negotiation. No, I don't want to waste time. This isn't gonna end well. I'm not, it'll end in saltiness and a waste of time. Just think about it. Because high net worth individuals, we're as in demand, if not more in demand than attractive women. Just like attractive women, men want intimacy from them. High net worth individuals, everybody wants their capital. They want their attention, but they want their attention for capital. And even attractive women want our attention and our capital. So it's even worse. It's like he posted, I'm just like, not interested. Days later, October, not interested. November, hey, look, this isn't what you're looking for. I don't think you're assessing this pricing the way a 5-figure. Hey, I don't think you have what it takes to date somebody like me. All right? Because it's a discussion, it's an exchange. All right? And again, going back to the provide value, there was never a point where Mr. Sneed said, "Oh, Saint, can I do anything for you? Can I provide value to you?" And that was never a consideration. So this guy was just a time suck, a vortex of attention and resources. At the end, I'm just like, hey, I'm being honest. We're not going to get along. We're not going to consummate a relationship. We're not going to consummate a date. All right? That's what I told him late in October. And then May, after, catcalling and trying to get somebody to dance with him for October, 7 more months after that, he comes back. Oh, I'm on my way out. I'm really desperate. Look at all these pictures. Look, I'm pretty cool. I'm doing cool stuff. Left him on read. Ignored him. And then May 14th, after ignoring him, after leaving him on read on May 12th another time, no, just no, N-O. That should have been the end of the discussion. Now, before we close it out, I got 2 more. I advise everybody that's going to do deals to think about the incentives. All right? From my perspective, and a lot of people know this, but let me clarify it again. I'm here, I'm not paid. There's no, I don't have equity in Legend Story Studios, although I wish I did. Nobody's paying me to do this. I'm here to try to be a steward of flesh and blood, a steward of FaB, because I believe in the game, I believe in the management, I believe in the ideology. All right? And hopefully the management does not have anything against my belief that, I should exercise my First Amendment right. Oh, by the way, going back to confidentiality, my First Amendment right was my right to tell this gentleman to fuck off. And he violated my privacy as a result. All right? We are only talking about these screenshots because Alex Sneed posted them for everybody to see. All right? That is already a non-starter. That already, you have no moral high ground. As a man-to-man, there is no gentlemanliness if you violate that privacy and that confidentiality. I didn't say go post my screenshots. And at the end, he even blocked me, and then he decided to post screenshots and make a whining video about it. Back to incentives, though. I'm here to be a steward for flesh and blood. The moment he told me, hey, I'm going back to my collecting roots in Pokemon in October, late October. The only reason I'm selling is I'm going back to my collecting roots of Pokemon now that the market has settled down from COVID hype. I don't have the funds to do both. He's a quitter. And you know what? When I responded and I stopped ghosting him and I responded, I first asked, and it was already public knowledge by May 12th, 14th. Then he said it himself. Oh, I'm getting out of FaB. He said it to me himself. He wanted exit liquidity. Sorry, guys. I try my best not to give exit liquidity to quitters because they're not here to do anything for flesh and blood in the future. They're getting out. All right? And, well, there's a little sphere of protection where I can help players, help judges, help other collectors, even help the team, help show up and do content, fly around the world and do some top secret business stuff that I can't talk about on camera for the betterment of flesh and blood, for the betterment of the community and the players and everybody involved. And you know what? That means that once you step out of this sphere of influence, you're not my responsibility. I'm not gonna be like Mr. Wonderful and say you're dead to me, but you're effectively invisible and you're not my concern. So at that point where I just gave him an NO after leaving him read and ignoring him and having done that and having him told him no nicely, but in nice, flowery, respectful, coddling, kid glove language, I just gave him the good old NO. Alex Sneed is a quitter and he's out. And I don't think he's, unlike many other friends I've transacted with, many runaways I've transacted with, he's not done anything substantial for the flesh and blood community. And if he's out to go play Pokemon, I could give a fuck. You do not have access, free reign to my time, my attention, and definitely not my wallet. All right? And I talked about this in the FaB Winter Ends episode because Alex Sneed was who I had in mind. Because, look, this guy is a jack-off. I called him a jack-off, and then I said, oh, some people are jack-offs because they're wasting time, which is exactly what this individual did. And afterwards, Yanji said, oh, hey, Alex Sneed is my friend. If he's your friend, why didn't he ask you about the tunic price himself? Why'd he have to be a little snake and ask me to sell you out and violate that confidentiality, right? So much of a friend. And not only that, Yanji and I were opening packs last weekend. He said something about Nathan Crawford reaching out and saying, oh, it's great that Yanji stepped in and kind of de-escalated the situation. It's probably for the better, right? We'll get to Nathan Crawford a little towards the end. One more thing, I'm in financial technology. My competitors in my day job are companies like PayPal, Square, Stripe, Fiserv, FIS, publicly traded companies that are basically proxies for asset management companies. Companies like BlackRock, Fidelity Investments, Vanguard, State Street. See, those guys, they're trying to take over the world. I am trying to build and nurture and cultivate individual talent to help the small businesses. And I've been very fortunate playing that David versus Goliath game to help, make lives better for about 10% of the US population through my primary financial technology business. We touch literally about 35 million individual Americans. So that said, that is a driving principle behind why I'm supporting James White, Legend Story Studios, in the game of Flesh and Blood. Because the people or the groups I supported years back before they got out of control, Wizards of the Coast, that whole toxic MTG high-end collector cabal, I was part of that. And I didn't like what was going on there, all right? Because Wizards of the Coast, owned by Hasbro, is also their largest shareholder, I believe. I could check, we could look it up. Is also BlackRock, all right? So again, that's why James and I are tight, because look, I'm playing that David versus Goliath game, trying to make things better for small businesses, trying to make things better for minorities and immigrants, trying to make things better for the everyday consumer. Every single day, I work these double shifts of 16 hours. I am fighting to, instead of help 10% of the US market, 11, 12, 15%. Heck, if I could get it up to 20%, before the end of my career, I will have called that a big win. James, same thing. David versus Goliath. Magic has about 35 million players worldwide. Flesh and Blood, maybe 500,000, right? That is a 70-to-1 ratio. Me, I'm getting beat by probably 10,000 to 1. So, and I've got, 200 competitors, not just the 6 or 7 that I listed earlier. James, he's got some, TCGs that are taking up market share, but I'd say his biggest competitor is, Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, for that, teenage to adult themed game. So that's a principle thing. That's why I cast this sphere of protection to help Flesh and Blood financially when it's at its worst times, to help Flesh and Blood strategically. When there's some big tectonic plates moving, I try to do my very best, and I've never made $1 off of Flesh and Blood. This is a absolutely cash negative and time negative proposition. Maybe you agree with it, maybe you don't, but maybe you can understand why, given the two main things, my businesses and my passion, Flesh and Blood, why I don't have time for delusional, narcissistic time wasters, all right? Especially ones that don't want to provide me and have never provided me any value. So, going back to point number 5, this is an oldie but goodie. Always remember that business is business, all right? AKA, business is business, so fuck your feelings, all right? Look, oh, you told me to come to you if the team ever needed help selling anything, and you would see what you could do. Yeah, that was like last year. That rope, right? That you already, expended that rope. You already exhausted that leeway. You have no more steps to walk. That ended before that final no. That ended before I left you on read multiple times. Okay? You make videos constantly about buying and advocating for these cards. Yes, I make videos about buying them at fair prices to people that deserve it. Not, you sell me, it's a $20 bill. Oh, here's a $20 bill. Give me $100 for it, Saint, because you're a good guy. No, fuck off. Your $300 worth of cards will not net you $1,500. By the way, that one heart, that was my account. It's a supply and demand game. It's called the law of supply and demand. Okay? So right now, there is no demand. There's all the supply in the world. There's zero demand. There's 0 hearts on eBay. So nobody's even watching it. Nobody's even looking at it because you post a $20 bill on eBay, nobody's gonna look at your post if you're asking for $100 for it. $19.99 maybe, $19.20 maybe, $18 it'll probably get bought. But nobody is buying your $20 bill for $100, and he refuses to recognize that. You've done nothing but give me the cold shoulder and be very distant and unfriendly in recent conversations. That's because I've told you the soft no like 3 times. Then I just spelled it out to you, black and white, N-O. And then I've left you on read about 4 times. And I've seen about 40 of your posts. I've even seen you consign this, and I've gone to shows all over the US and all across the world, and I've seen the same vendors bring it out, and it's like, do you want this collection? No. Do you want this? No. Pro Tour, do you want this collection? No. Oh, somebody in my Patreon, finally. Oh, I bought the collection. And I'm like, okay, great. Good for you. You needed those cards. I did not. Did you get a good price? Yes, I did. And great, mazel tov. I'm happy for you. But I wasn't going to be the buyer. Back to fuck your feelings and why. Is there a reason for that? Yes, there's a reason. Yes, there's a reason. I don't have time for you. May on month 2 in the middle of a divorce, and I answered that question. I told you. That was an answer to your question. That is non sequitur to anything emotional. This is not emotional. And it didn't need to get personal. Alex Sneed chose to make it personal. Me giving a dude a hard time and saying, oh, he's a little bit of a jack off, wasted my time. Here's a joke. You could buy this set for 469%. That was lighthearted. This was needy. This was insecure. This was malicious on Alex Sneed's part. Posting a video, not giving the full context. All right? This is bad faith. And it's a general violation of integrity, trust, and honor amongst men. So I would say this makes him less of a man. All right? And then speaking of less of a man, business is business. There is no space. There is no place for emotions or feelings in business. All right? You come to me or you go to any man asking for money, that is the beginning of a business discussion. The only reason I have heeded and been so patient with this individual is prior to his quitting Flesh and Blood, and again I verified this, he is not within the sphere of influence. I don't care. He will not bring any positivity or any benefit to Flesh and Blood from May 2024 onwards, and I would argue he's never brought any positivity or he's never made a positive influence on the game of Flesh and Blood. All right? Because in the background, I've had to deal with this, and even in the collector community, even in private discords, we have to talk, oh, this joke of a set is out there. Oh, the Sneed set. Even amongst, how many groups are you clogging up where admins have to repost, and there's the bandwidth, and repost, and see the same post 50 damn times, all right? And all this bullshit about, trying to whine about, oh, our relationship. There was no relationship. You have come at me soliciting me for value every single time. And at the end, I just did my best to be diplomatic and push you away. I don't have an obligation to Alex Sneed. I don't have an obligation to anybody. My time is super valuable. I've got an actual mission, just like James White has a mission. Imagine Alex Sneed was soliciting James White, right? Selling him his own cards. I've got cases, I've got long boxes of arcade foils and alpha foils, but that's not the point. I didn't need this. I didn't need this conversation. I've already made it clear I don't want this conversation. So again, this is in private. Freedom of speech. I'm exercising my First Amendment right. This guy has no moral ground, especially after violating my privacy, to say that he was hurt. Okay? Oh, slander? Oh, this jack off. All right? I especially with this behavior, is he not a jack off? Is it not like self-fulfilling prophecy? All right? I was going to do, maybe a 3-segment episode with 3 separate transactions. And honestly, I didn't want this whole divorce stuff and whatever to come out. Although in the back of my mind, when I mentioned it to him, I thought it was a small, distinct possibility, but I didn't think he'd be that petty, but it is what it is. And this video, I hope, will teach the good people something, because in future episodes of Keeping It Real in FaB Deals, hopefully I'll get to mention some people that, did good, or some people that rehabilitated their business image, because, that's a vantage point that I fortunately/unfortunately get to have. And enough ranting for now. I'm gonna get a drink, and if you want the little breakdown, I'll give you something after. Okay, I had to take a nap and do a couple emails, but as promised, I'm back. In giving it a little more thought, this whole situation feels like, it's not a tale as old as time, but it's a tale as old as this COVID pandemic, I think, where these days, some individuals are so entitled and so out of touch and so delusional that they believe that their victimhood and their outrage trumps everything else. I'm a human being. I'm an American. I am a grown adult that lives and works and thrives in the Western world, where we have rights, where we have, fundamental freedoms as human beings. So Alex Sneed, in this move, his little concocted move to feign victimhood, play the victim, he basically thought, oh, you know what? My victimhood and my feeling outraged for going to be, for being told to go fuck himself, which I didn't actually say. I said, please fuck off and fuck your feelings, because that's a fact. There's no space for feelings in a business transaction. And I said, please. I was kind about it. Okay? I didn't have time for him. But regardless, Alex Sneed believes that his outrage supersedes my right, as an American, to privacy, as well as my First Amendment rights, even in private, to freedom of speech. Okay? Now, I know that everybody will be like, oh, he had no choice. Well, maybe not everybody. I think some of you, there's still some normal people in the world that see this for what it is. It's, a grift, where he was trying to throw me under the bus and paint me, oh, look, this is what Saint doesn't want everybody to know. He's going through a divorce. Honestly, I already told the high-end collectors, the people that have become personal friends of mine in the past 5 to 7 years, nobody said a thing. I have a private, adult Discord of about 100 high-end collectors, and they've known since, I think, April, because they're like, oh, Saint, why aren't you involved in anything? I'm sorry, guys, blah, 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 blah. There are no screenshots, right? There was literally 0 people betrayed that trust, because those people are adults and they understand that this sniveling, retaliatory outrage behavior, that's some fatherless bullshit that Alex Sneed is pulling. Okay? Now, the divorce news, I was going to plan to tell Rudy and Open Boosters in person, because we have a personal relationship. Our families know one another. So if this is the way that Rudy ultimately hears it before I get to see him in August, then I'm sorry, buddy. This was out of my hands. Sometimes shitty people are shitty. There's nothing you can do about that. That said, same thing to a certain very sizable collector in the Asia Pacific. Sorry if this is the way you hear about it, but it is what it is, and it's out there, and I felt the need to, calm down the market a little bit, calm down the collectors. This is one psychopath, trying to say, hey, my feelings of outrage, supersede and trump this individual's right to be a human being. That's basically what he's saying. About the, entitlement and the delusion that he's going through afterwards. The exchange was, your divorce doesn't give you the right to treat people like that. Hope your situation gets better where you don't need to tell good people. No, this is not a good person. This is somebody that's sick and doesn't get it. Need to tell good people to fuck off. Alex Sneed is not a good person, all right? And I tell him exactly why. You are proactively wasting my time. You have come at me with unsolicited advances to give you money and can't take a hint. Now, this next sentence, I understand how that can go off a little, come across as a little wrong, but there's a reason to everything I put out there because I'm in business for nearly 30 years. I know everything I put in writing might one day come back to bite me in the ass, and I don't regret saying it. I owe you nothing, you ingrate of a panhandler. You see, everybody, my relationship with Alex Sneed goes back 4 whole years. If you look at the first post, we'll put it up, Flesh and Blood Graded Sealed Marketplace, February 1st, 2021. This means that I did an opening, on this group. I did a live stream in January, and well, he, was watching because I was doing a lot of giveaways, trying to promote the game. Out of my pocket, I had nothing to gain there. Alex Sneed, February 1st, 2021. Thanks St. Hung for the Arcane Rising box giveaway. Top-notch shipping and guy. Completely unexpected giveaway in one of his streams. Still stunned. It's the first giveaway I've ever won. Ha ha. Like every fractured relationship, there's a beginning and an end. This, if you even want to call it a relationship, reminds me, and that's why I use the word ingrate. It reminded me, I knew it was done. I knew there's nothing more I could do. I had literally no choice. Again, go back to thinking about the situation if I were a woman and this person were pursuing me. Like, this guy is a couple of approaches away from a fucking restraining order, all right? And I had no other choice. That's why I needed to tell him, fuck off. He wasn't getting it. 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and he's out of the flesh and blood community. You are no longer my concern. That is me being nice. Fuck off is me being nice. Please fuck off is me being extra patient and nice. But this gentleman is an ingrate of a panhandler because it reminds me of something my parents used to call me when I was out of line. They use the word, and you know what? It might be appropriate being that our, elected officials and those asset management companies are hedging their bets, taking millions of dollars on the elected officials' part and investing trillions of dollars on the asset management companies' part to countries like China. Might be time to hedge your bets and learn a little bit of Chinese. So my parents, when I was acting unfilial and a total dick when I was a kid, called me a chu son, and that means, easy translation, something like an ingrate. It means an idiotic beast or a bastard. Actually, if you use it in the derogatory way, it actually means something like a insignificant piece of biological excrement. And that was the emphaticness I wanted to deliver to Mr. Sneed because, my parents usually followed that up with saying, you know what? If I fed a dog, at least the dog would wag his tail. I gave Alex Sneed value from day one. He got at the time, I think it was $150 Arcane Rising box. Then he solicited me for help on boxes for his community. I don't remember if I did or didn't. I helped everybody that reached out. Then he raised the red flag and said, oh, give me some confidential market data. And I was like, whoa, this is not going in a good direction. And then he just started juicing me for my time on the sets, and then the worst part was at the very end when, he thinks he has the right to whine to me about his feelings. I'm not your mother, Alex Sneed. I'm nobody's mother. I've never identified as female, and I probably don't have those nurturing, qualities to me. I've always been a man, and I only know the code of being a man. And the code of being a man is not violating another man's privacy and not, spreading an individual's family business to everybody just because you are outraged. Now, there's gonna be externalities. Some people in private messages are like, what's Saint gonna do? I thought about it, and there could be, future career repercussions, and there could even be legal repercussions for this individual. But the fact remains that a good litigating attorney probably costs $500 to $700 an hour. And, you'd have to be pursuing somebody very important or somebody that's done you a lot of, financial harm to do that. And if this individual keeps going, I would say, objectively speaking, he's done. But if this individual continues down the path of, being unethical, being narcissistic, being entitled, being delusional, being insecure, right? Simping and nagging and whining, exhibiting fatherless behavior, then, and also, violating people's privacy, then he's gonna have a really tough life already. There's probably nothing I can do to make his life worse. I believe he works in a restaurant. I don't know if he does well, but you know what? It's like, hey, if you're washing dishes or bussing tables, you know what? Like, I will leave that be because it's not worth my time. And I feel liberated that I have one less time-wasting person in my life because I don't personally gain any utility out of getting my time wasted. I gained zero utility of these 4 years of, helping individuals and giving individuals like Alex Sneed my product, assets that are valuable, my attention, my time, my advice. And what I got from this, what did I call him again? From this ingrate of a panhandler, and I stand by that because he had his hand stuck out for, nearly 8 months, is that I owe him nothing. I owe him nothing. I stand by it. This guy is an ingrate. You know what? True externalities. I'm going to label this, this video with Alex Sneed's name because he, put it out there. He started this personal attack. I don't need to retaliate. I'm known in the MTG and the flesh and blood community. And as a matter of fact, Alex Sneed is going to move, in his own words, going to move to collectible Pokemon. I used to dabble in Pokemon as well. I could put up a post. In 2019, there was a very, very sought after box of base first, basically alpha Pokemon. And this had special provenance from a former employee of Wizards of the Coast. So alpha Pokemon, Wizards of the Coast, that was my box. It's literally the provenance letter has my name on it. It got, middleman by a company called Graded Power. And I don't know if you guys know this, during the boom, there was the Logan and, the Logan Paul opening. Yeah, that box came from me. All right. So I actually have a great rapport with multiple admins in the many, many Pokemon groups. And now that Pokemon's mentioned, we'll tag Pokemon. So, the trading card game space, it's a very small ecosystem. And this person is out declaring war against, privacy, freedom of speech, rationale. And like Alex Sneed, if you say no to him, he's going to go crazy. And you know what? If he's outraged, it's all over. That is the message Alex is basically projecting to the greater collector community. And you really can't make this up. Like, if this person was a serious adversary before this move, after this, I'm just like, I can't even take this guy seriously. It's like, so in the middle of Alex Sneed's diss track, I'll put up the post, but, editor, please, leave out the address. He literally doxed himself, all right? In his video complaining about me, the image is there. He literally doxed himself. It's like, how much more self-destructive and just oblivious can you be? Alex Sneed is gonna have a hard time all by himself. I'm gonna have, for me, it was just a Tuesday. I'm gonna move on and go do my thing. Oh, there's one more thing though, because as people are piling on and as everybody's got an opinion and everybody's a fucking narcissist these days, they think their opinion is gold and they think that, attention is currency. Attention ain't shit. All that digital attention that you're garnering, you're just making these multi-trillion-dollar tech companies money. You're the product, right? If not, they're not charging you anything for their product. All these social media, sites, you're the product and you're being used, all right? Speaking of being used, Nathan Crawford, Yanji told me while we were opening boxes this past weekend that Nathan reached out and, thanked Yanji for de-escalating the situation. Rat-like behavior, Nathan. He comes out, I think on Twitter, I don't have Twitter, but I think this post is from Twitter. No human being should ever talk to another like this, especially over the value of cardboard. It costs nothing to be a kind person. The FaB community doesn't have room for content creators using their platform to slander other people in the community. Be better. All right, Nathan. Well, this wasn't a dispute about the value of cardboard. This was, hey, this isn't going to work out. Hey, you've got things wrong. Hey, I'm not interested. Hey, I'm trying to ghost you. Please leave me alone. Hey, please, I don't have time for this. I do not have time for back and forth. Then, again and again, ghosting a couple more times. And then finally, I'm being pushed to the point where I say, no, N-O. And I want to end it at that. I don't need to tell you anything except man to man, especially privately. I have all the right in the world to tell another man to fuck off. Because those are the only words he deserved. Okay, Nathan? And if you believe that I am treating him inhumanly, right? Then are you also agreeing that Alex Sneed's victimhood and outrage supersede my right to privacy and freedom of speech, right? Do I owe him something? Should he get on my couch and he can tell me about his childhood and shit? No, it was a business transaction. I had rebuffed him like 8 separate times and ignored him. Finally, when that last little thread of, mutual interest, oh, I'm still a pro in the flesh and blood scene. When that ended, any obligation, any allegiance, any affinity, any goodwill I had with him disappeared. And he still pushed me, and he still pushed me, and he still pushed me. Okay? So I'm just standing up as a man and speaking out because I'm allowed to, because this is America. All right? Now, Nathan Crawford, how did I slander this guy? Look, everybody can look. He's being a jackoff. All right? And I was joking. There are many jackoffs, many time wasters. Okay? If you're wasting my time, I have the right to call you a jackoff. It's not derogatory, right? Is it slander? Was I wrong? Did he not waste my time? Right? Did he not gain utility from me? Over 3 years, and then the 4th year, proactively come after me for more and more benefit, offering me nothing, absolutely no value in response, not even a consideration, not even, does it not matter that he should have treated me as a human being more, thank yous and this, and no, give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. Oh, you gave me the box, so now, you're my servant for the rest of my, no, Nathan Crawford. And Nathan, you are as far as I know, an active American flesh and blood professional player in the American circuit. All right? I will tell you that the past, just in 2024 alone, I've gone to multiple events. I think Queenstown, I think, I don't know if you know what these are, but, there's a lot of them. I've got boxes and boxes of them. I post up at these events and I sit down, say hi to multiple judges. These go for $250 to $400. I don't know what they're actually worth. I don't know what they cost, but they're there. I've got boxes of these. People might think I'm hoarding them. No, I'm not. The judges know exactly why I'm doing it. I'm posting up, in tables at these major events because I believe that the judges worked hard. When I was a Magic the Gathering professional, there were judges like Steve Z, he's still in the flesh and blood circuit being a judge, and I thank him very much, because sometimes when I got heated or I got out of line, back in the days of Neutral Ground and, in the New York MTG Pro circuit, Steve Z would keep me in my place. Please, editor, don't put up a picture of Steve Z and get the wrong person up. But Steve Z, if you ever listen to this message, I really thank you for 20 plus years, 25 maybe? Close to 30 years of your service and your involvement in the TCG community. And this is my way of thanking the judges. So, do you want the person supplementing the judge's income? I could easily say I've provided for probably 50 judges in the past 2 years for their extra travel and expenses. Judge the game, see the world, right? And not just that. Gold foils. All of you pros play hard for your gold foils. I personally consume for my personal collection purposes and because I want to support the FaBled Runaways. Let's go Runaways. I buy gold foils. I probably personally consume a double-digit percentage alone of all the gold foils that are released in the world. All right? And I, above and beyond that, run the graded high-end community. I am the founder and, co-founder. I've got other folks that started up with me and operator of graded high-end as well as the high-end collector community in Flesh and Blood. Co-founded that. And I also have the Discord that, has probably 50% of the remaining high-end collectors, the people that are actually buying and selling these gold foils. Now, just think about what you're saying, because if I'm so poisonous to the community, is there that much liquidity outside of me, that much interest supporting the judges, proactively keeping that market price high and, bag holding? I don't even have time to open these things, okay? This is just a thank you for the duty of the judges. And you're a professional player. Please go out there. Go out there. Go win something. Go win a graded gold foil. Do you think that asking, somebody who's spent his whole time in Flesh and Blood upholding and solidifying the infrastructure of the game and the secondary market, do you think that's really intelligent? I'd like you to really think about it and think about what I said in my video before taking that position. It's very rat-like behavior that, in private channels you want to, you commend the de-escalation by Yanji, and then in public channels you go up beating your chest, rallying behind a has-been that's no longer significant to Flesh and Blood. So, Nathan, you and I don't need to have a beef. You don't need to do anything. There are people watching. People watch this video. Discussions will be had in different Wall Street, Whale Street, Purple, this, my private Discord, right? And how that turns out for the card guys, that has nothing to do with me. All right, if you're a nice guy, and you're like, hey, just kidding. Would you like to buy a gold foil? I'll consider it, but just don't harass me and, follow me like a needy little puppy dog and tell me about your feelings, because I ain't your mother either. All right, Nathan Crawford? Now, that said, the last thing is the haters. There are haters out there that will hate me for anything. And I have this conversation with Yanji. Privately, in person, I have conversations with different members who happen to be, Asian minorities in the Flesh and Blood community. They're like, oh man, we wish you had a lot more followers, for this valuable stuff that you talk about, the life experience and your valuable insight into being a collector, and the information that you have, by your vantage point. A lot more people should follow you. And I'm like, I know, and we all know what the elephant in the room is. It's that, I'm an Asian minority, which is, not in favor right now because of the post-pandemic environment. I'm Taiwanese, by the way, so America, but I'm also wealthy, so that it's like two reasons to put a target on my back. And you know what? All of these haters are going to hate on me for whatever reason. Whatever bullshit reason some outraged, is going to, manufacture to give you guys a reason to come and post negative things about me, but you don't exist to me. My welcome into this country in the streets of Queens was, hey, you little slanty-eyed bitch, give us your backpack. Or, hey, little bitch, give me your violin. And, getting beat up as a runty little, 7 or 8 year old on the streets of Flushing. Going to the Bronx, it was, oh, you fucking chink. If you ever step on my block again, I'm gonna put a bullet right between your eyes. This is Tremont, Bronx. Can't make this shit up. 16 years old. Have to deal with that. So, you know what? Yes, I'm a minority, and yes, I got wealthy, but there's so many disadvantages I had to overcome. I'm an immigrant. I came from a broken family. I had a stepmother. My father was handicapped, and I've got bad genetics, really bad eyesight. I'm 5'7" on my best day. And, you know, health-wise, I literally had a stroke, a mild stroke, just under 2 years ago. I made a Fabled Hunters video about that. But despite all that, I am grateful every single day because I feel so privileged to be one of the 300 million, 320, however many, 350 million people to be able to call myself an American. And every single day I look out the window, I feel positivity and I feel opportunity. And if you want to hate on me because of that, that's fine. You know, if some deplorables from FaB Twitter want to come on and dogpile and talk a little bit of shit, that's fine. You might think you feel better, but late at night when you stay up and you're looking at the ceiling, you're like, oh man, why is my life so shit? I want you to know that all of these decisions that are leading your life to be miserable have nothing to do with Saint Hung. My wealth and my journey, my path was forged by myself, and I had plenty of other challenges and obstacles, much more threatening than go fuck yourself, like a gun right between the eyes, all right? Like getting beat up on the streets. But the faster you individuals, you toxic, not very successful individuals, the second you guys realize that your anger and jealousy stems from your own insecurity, your own inadequacies, you know, your own fractured self-image, that's, you know, the faster you come to terms with that, the faster you can be better. So, you know what? I really appreciated this opportunity. It didn't turn out that well, but, you know, I got to jumpstart a new segment on Fabled Hunters as a result. And, yeah, it's time for me to make my next meeting. Obviously not in this shirt, but make my next meeting because I've got about 200 new employees I've got to hire. And, you know, I'm always thinking every day about how I can go out there and help those next 10,000 small businesses and provide, you know, financial stability and security for 45 million Americans instead of 35 million Americans. So, hey, and for those guys that have been on my side and, you know, were waiting to hear my side of the story, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your outreach. You know, I was a little pissed for a little bit, but I'm fine. Like I said, it's just another Tuesday for me, guys. So, hope you guys like what you see. Like, comment, subscribe. We could always use more Patreon followers because the funds go to Yanji. Ultimately, they also help the Runaways. So let's go Runaways, everybody. All right, guys. That's it. Take care. Stay sexy, FaB Twitter. Bye.